Travels with Roy Wiss.
What went wrong with Sunland Caravans? Look, before I start, I need to make something very clear. This video is based on my own experience, my own recollection, and publicly available information, and my personal opinion as someone who founded, built, owned, and later sold Sunland Caravans. Look, I'm not making allegations of fraud, misconduct, dishonesty, or unlawful behaviour against any person. I'm not asking you to attack anyone, and I will not allow this to become a personal pile-on. Business failure is rarely caused by one single event. It is usually a combination of decisions, market conditions, timing, pressure, cash flow, management choices, and sometimes just plain bad luck. Now, where I state something as fact is either from my own direct involvement or publicly available information. Where I offer an explanation, it's my opinion. I also invite anyone directly involved who believes I've got something wrong to contact me, and I will correct the record if reliable information shows that I should. Now, with that said, let me talk about what went wrong with Sunland Caravans. Sunland was just, well, it simply wasn't just another brand. To me, Sunland was years of design, engineering, testing, problem solving, hard-earned knowledge. It was a brand I built around doing things differently. I focused on lightweight construction with strength, with innovation, with off-road credibility, and a very loyal customer base. So when people ask what went wrong with Sunland, the answer is not simple. Look, the name may still exist in some form, but the Sunland that most people knew, the Sunland that came from the original team, the original culture, the original methods, and the original knowledge base, well, that was something very specific. And in my opinion, once that knowledge was separated from the brand, the damage was already underway. My connection to Sunland? Well, I founded Sunland. I built the business, the product, the philosophy, the systems, and the reputation over many years. Eventually, I sold the Sunland Caravans. My understanding and recollection is that that sale involved a partnership between Jamie Johnson and Jason Wiley. And not long after that purchase, that partnership split. Look, from my understanding, Jamie continued with Design RV and Essential RV, while Jason continued with Sunland Caravans and the associated camper / import side of the business, which later became more focused around X Series. Look, I want to be very careful here. I'm not inside every meeting, every bank account, every conversation, or every decision that happened after I sold. So this is not me pretending I know every internal detail. But I do understand caravan manufacturing. I do understand what made Sunland work. And I do understand how quickly a strong brand can be damaged if the wrong assumptions are made. So for me, the first major issue was misunderstanding what they actually bought. Look, when someone buys a caravan brand, they're not just buying a logo. They're buying the designs, they're buying the systems, they're buying the supply knowledge, they're buying the production methods, they're buying the staff experience, and that's a big one. They're buying the small details that are not written on a brochure. And when a brand like Sunland, whose details mattered enormously, well, Sunland was not a basic white box caravan that could simply be picked up, moved and duplicated anyway. It had its own construction methods, its own way of solving problems, and its own accumulation of knowledge. Look, in my opinion, one of the biggest mistakes was underestimating the intellectual value of the original Sunland staff. A good caravan is not just designed on a computer, it's built by people who know where the problems are before they even happen. They know which components work, they know which suppliers are reliable, they know which shortcuts must never be taken, and they know why something is done a certain way, even when that reason is not obvious to a new owner. And when that knowledge walks out the door, the brand name remains, but the product, well, it changes. Now, the move to Melbourne. At some point, manufacturing was moved to Pakenham in Melbourne. Now, on paper, I understand why some people might have thought that was a good move. Melbourne has a large caravan manufacturing base. It has suppliers, it has trades, it has transport link, and it has industry infrastructure. But Sunland was not just a location, it was a culture and a knowledge base. In my opinion, moving the brand away from the people who understood it, it was a critical mistake. Look, you can move machinery, you can move drawings, you can move branding, you can move parts, but you cannot easily move 20 plus years of hands-on product knowledge. And from what I observed and what I've been told by people around the industry, the product that followed did not appear to carry the same standard, the same consistency or the same identity that Sunland had built its reputation on. Look, I'm not saying every individual involved did the wrong thing, and I'm certainly not attacking factory workers, and I'm not attacking suppliers. I'm talking about the business decision. In my view, the decision underestimated how special and difficult Sunland was to reproduce. Now, I want to draw the comparison with Zone RV. And there is a useful comparison here. You know, when Jamie Johnson later became involved with Zone RV, my observations were that he appeared to understand the value of the original people and the original knowledge. A brand like Zone, just like Sunland, is not a badge, it's people, process, design, engineering and experience. And if you want to keep the brand alive, you need to retain as much of that knowledge as possible. And that does not mean everything old is perfect. Sometimes new ownership needs to change systems, tighten costs, improve cash flow, or modernise production. But if you throw away the people who understand the DNA of the product, you risk ending up with a name without the substance behind it. And that, in my opinion, is where Sunland began to lose its way. The focus shifts to X-Series, and from what I observed, Jason's attention seemed to move heavily towards the imported X-Series style product. Then again, I want to be clear, that is nothing automatically wrong with an imported product. And there are good imports and bad imports. And there are good Australian-made products and bad Australian-made products. The issue is not simply where something is built. The issue is whether the product is properly engineered, properly supported, properly warranted, properly documented, properly compiled and properly matched to Australian conditions. And the X-Series side of the business appeared to be a volume opportunity, lower price points, broader market appeal, faster moving stock and a different type of customer. And from a business point of view, I can understand the attraction. But Sunland was never a volume brand in that same way. Sunland was a specialist brand. It was a premium off-road product with a particular customer and particular design philosophy. And trying to focus a specialised brand into a volume mindset, well, that can be dangerous. Because premium caravan buyers are not just buying walls, wheels and furniture. They're buying confidence. They're buying reputation. And they're buying the belief the product has been thought through properly. Only once that trust starts to erode, it's very hard to rebuild. And the Sunland name continued. Look, one of the things that bothered many people was seeing the Sunland name continue to appear around products and marketing after the original manufacturing identity had been changed. Now, legally, if you own a brand, you have the right to use that brand. And I'm not saying otherwise. But there is a difference between legal ownership of a name and the customer's understanding of what that name represents. And this is where I think the industry needs to have a serious conversation. Because when customers see a long-standing brand name, they assume they're getting the same company culture, the same people, the same design knowledge, the same construction logic, and the same product philosophy. You know, sometimes that is actually true. Then again, sometimes it's not. And in my opinion, buyers should always ask a direct question. Look, who is actually building this product? Where is it being built? Who designed it? Who certifies it? Who warrants it? And who will still be there if something goes wrong? And that question matters more than ever today, than it's ever mattered. Look, private pressures, handled respectfully. There were also private pressures around the business and the people involved. And I'm not going to get into those details because I do not believe that would be fair. It's not necessary or appropriate to turn to private personal matters into YouTube content. People under pressure can make poor business decisions, and that is true in any industry. And this video is not about attacking a person's private life. This video is about business structure, brand value, manufacturing knowledge, and what happens when a respected caravan name becomes separated from the people and systems that built it. So, why did it collapse? Look, this public question is very simple. If there was still brand value, if there was still products being promoted and the market still recognised the Sunland name, why did it collapse? Look, my honest answer is this. We may never know the full answers unless administrators, creditors or formal reports reveal more. Now, firstly, Sunland's original manufacturing DNA had been already weakened. Secondly, the business appeared to, shift focus between being a premium Australian-made heritage brand and a more volume-driven imported product strategy. And thirdly, the caravan industry itself was slowing down. Look, after the COVID boom, inquiry levels changed, stock levels changed, consumer confidence changed, and the finance became harder for many buyers. Now, the fourth reason is caravan manufacturers is cash hungry. It only takes a few wrong moves, too much stock, slow sales, warranty pressure, production inefficiency, supplier debt or delayed deliveries, and the whole structure can be under pressure very quickly. My fifth reason is once confidence is lost, the industry talks, dealers talk, suppliers talk, customers talk, staff talk, and that loss of confidence can move faster than the business can recover. So in my opinion, the sudden collapse was it wasn't really sudden. The final event may have looked sudden, but the damage to the original Sunland model had been happening for some time. What made Sunland special? Well, this is the part that matters most to me personally. Sunland was special because it wasn't trying to be everything to everyone. It had its own ideas, it had its own construction philosophy, and it had loyal customers, and it produced products designed for Australian travel. You had people who cared deeply about what they were building. Look, that is hard to create, and once it's gone, you cannot just recreate it by keeping the name. A caravan brand is not a sticker. It's trust. And what happens now? Could someone pick up the Sunland mantle and bring it back properly? Maybe, but it would need to be the right person with the right respect for the brand, the right engineering understanding, the right production discipline, and the right customer support structure. It would need to be more than a badge. It would need to be a genuine rebuild. And if that does not happen, then the Sunland many of us knew may just simply become another Australian caravan name that slowly disappears into history. And that would be a sad outcome, not just for me personally, but for the industry and for those owners. Now, a wider industry warning. This is bigger than Sunland. The Australian caravan industry is facing one of the most difficult periods I've ever seen. Look, we have seen pressures on manufacturers, we've seen customers left exposed, we've seen businesses grow too fast, and we have seen brands bought, moved, changed, rebadged, repackaged, and we have seen buyers confused about who actually builds what. And if the government, regulators, industry bodies, manufacturers, dealers and consumers do not start taking this seriously, we may be heading into one of the darkest chapters the caravan industry has ever faced. And the answer is not to destroy the industry. The answer is to clean it up. We need better transparency, better protection for customer deposits, better compliance checks, clearer warranty, responsibility, clearer disclosure imported versus locally built products, clearer disclosure when a brand name changes ownership or manufacturing locations, because buyers are spending serious money. And in many cases, they are spending retirement money. They deserve to know exactly what they are buying. Look, so what went wrong with Sunland Caravans? In my opinion, the brand lost the people, the culture, and the knowledge that made it special. The name remained, but the foundation changed. And once that happened, the future of the original Sunland was already in serious trouble. Look, I take no joy in saying that. Sunland was a huge part of my life. I built it, I cared about it, and I still care about the people who bought those vans and believed in the brand. If someone can bring Sunland back properly with respect for what it was, I would like to see that, and we'd be more than happy to help them. But if the name is only used as a marketing tool without the substance behind it, then buyers need to be very careful. As always, do your homework, ask hard questions, get everything in writing, understand who is building your caravan and who is back in the warranty. And look, who will still be there if something goes wrong? I'm Roy Wiss. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment below, but keep it respectful. This is not about abuse. This is about learning, accountability and protecting caravan buyers. Now, for legal reasons, I need to make this disclaimer statement. So my description disclaimer is this video is commentary and opinion based on my personal experience, recollection, publicly available information and my understanding of events in the Australian caravan industry. Nothing in this video should be taken as allegations of fraud, dishonesty, unlawful conduct or personal misconduct by any individual or company. Where I express a view, it is my opinion. Where I refer to business events, I do so for industry commentary, consumer education and public interest discussion. If any person directly involved believes the information in this video is inaccurate, they are invited to contact me with reliable supporting material so I can review it and if necessary correct the record. Comments containing personal attacks, defamatory claims, threats or unsupported allegation, well, they will be removed. So for now, I want to thank you again for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, comment. Let's keep this going, guys. Thank you for everything.
Roy Wiss.